Have you ever felt like you lost someone, but they're still alive? They still walk, still talk, still exist in the world. But the version of them you needed, the parent you longed for, was never really there. And somehow, that kind of loss hurts in a way that's harder to explain, because no one else seems to see it. This isn't the kind of grief people bring flowers for. No one checks in on you. No one says, "I'm sorry for your loss." Because technically, you didn't lose them. But emotionally, psychologically, you did. And if you've ever felt guilty for grieving someone who's still alive, stay with me. Because this might finally put words to something you've been carrying for years. But before we go deeper, take a second to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell. Because we talk about the kinds of emotional experiences most people struggle to explain. And if this resonates with you, you're not alone. And I want you to make it to the end of this video, because what you'll understand there might change how you see your past and yourself. There's a specific kind of grief that doesn't come from death. It comes from absence within presence. It's the grief of having a parent who was physically there, but emotionally unavailable. A parent who provided, but never connected. A parent who spoke, but never truly saw you. Or maybe they did see you, but only when you were performing, achieving, or behaving in ways that made them comfortable. So you learned something early on. Love had conditions, connection had rules, and your real self wasn't always welcome. That realization doesn't happen all at once. It builds slowly. In the moments you wanted comfort, but got silence. In the times you needed protection, but were dismissed. In the years you kept hoping, maybe this time they'll understand me. But they didn't. And at some point, quietly, painfully, you start grieving. Not because they're gone, but because the parent you needed never fully existed. And here's where it gets even more complicated. You might feel guilty for feeling this way. After all, they didn't abandon you completely. They may have sacrificed, provided, or stayed. So part of you thinks, do I even have the right to feel hurt? But grief isn't about comparing pain. It's about acknowledging impact. And the truth is, emotional neglect leaves marks that are just as real as physical absence. It teaches you to question your needs, to minimize your feelings, to become hyper-independent or deeply anxious in relationships. Not because you're broken, but because you adapted. For many people, this grief shows up later in life, when you start forming adult relationships and realize how hard it is to trust. When someone shows you genuine care and it feels unfamiliar, even uncomfortable. Or when you finally admit to yourself, I don't feel close to my parent. And that sentence alone can feel like betrayal. But it's not betrayal. It's awareness. And awareness is where healing begins. Mourning a living parent means letting go of a fantasy. The fantasy that one day they'll suddenly become who you needed. The fantasy that you'll finally hear the words you've been waiting for your entire life. The fantasy that if you just try a little harder, you'll earn the love that feels just out of reach. Letting go of that fantasy is painful because it forces you to face a truth you didn't choose. But it also frees you because as long as you're holding on to that hope, you're also holding yourself in the same cycle of disappointment. Grief in this context isn't about disconnecting completely. It's about redefining the relationship, seeing your parent for who they are, not who you needed them to be, and choosing how much access they have to your emotional world. For some, that means setting boundaries. For others, it means lowering expectations. And for some, it means creating distance, not out of anger, but out of self-respect.
And here's something important. You're allowed to feel two things at once. You can love your parent and still grieve what they couldn't give you. You can appreciate what they did provide and still acknowledge what was missing. Those feelings don't cancel each other out. They coexist. And learning to hold that complexity is part of emotional maturity.
But perhaps the most powerful shift happens when you stop asking, "Why weren't they enough for me?" and start asking, "How can I start being there for myself in the ways they couldn't?" Because the healing doesn't come from finally getting what you missed. It comes from no longer abandoning yourself while waiting for it. It comes from validating your own emotions, meeting your own needs, and surrounding yourself with relationships that feel safe, mutual, and real.
If this is something you're going through, I want you to hear this clearly. Your grief is valid, even if no one else sees it, even if no one else understands it, even if the person you're grieving is still alive. Because grief isn't just about losing people. Sometimes it's about losing the version of love you thought you would have. And if this resonated with you, don't keep it to yourself. Comment below. Have you ever felt like you were mourning someone who's still alive? Share this video with someone who might be silently going through the same thing, because conversations like this help people feel less alone in experiences they've never had words for. And if you want to continue understanding yourself on a deeper level, make sure to watch the next videos on this channel, because healing isn't a single realization, it's a journey, and you don't have to go through it alone.